You want answers!
I want the truth!
Play it.
Fucking bitch.
This is the Godfather of cinema, and thanks for joining me for my analysis of director David Fincher's 2014 psychological thriller Gone Girl, written by Gillian Flynn and starring Ben Affleck, Rosamund Pike, Neil Patrick Harris, Tyler Perry, and Carrie Coon. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to be notified of my future videos. Detective Boney takes it upon herself to reread Amy's diary after finding an envelope with the word clue, and finding Amy's half-burnt diary inside of the furnace in the basement at Nick's father's house. It makes no sense to Detective Boney why Nick didn't make sure to burn the diary all the way up. Coincidences that are too obvious, especially for the police. So when Officer Gilpin reminds Detective Boney of that old saying that says that the simplest answer is often true, she reminds him that simple answers are often cliches that people want to believe are true.
And America loves pregnant women.
When Ellen Abbott calls Nick a bad son for visiting his poor elderly father with Alzheimer's only once in the past year, she does not have to provide any reason for why Nick visited his father only once in the past year, because his poor elderly father used to get drunk and cheat on his mother all the time until she divorced him and he left them and never came back to see Nick, who was only 10 years old. Ellen also transforms Nick into a womanizer at Amy's rally by showing a photo of him and a woman named Shauna who had taken the selfie with him while he was off guard, and he smiled only because his mother taught him to. Instead of being rude and brushing the woman off, he bullshitted her in order to get her to leave him alone. He couldn't be true to her and himself with his feelings in that moment.
Disrespected my wife.
Which is why Nick didn't tell Go about his affair, so that she wouldn't pressure him to stop having the affair, and why he also lied to Go in telling her that he did not want a child with Amy, when in fact it was Amy who didn't want a child with him. But this truth would have given Go more reason to not like Amy, who she did not like in the first place, and the fact that he felt relieved by Amy's disappearance meant that he had to pretend to feel bad about her disappearance to please a public that expected him to feel bad about her disappearance.
Disrespected my wife.
Which meant that he had to bullshit the people, because being fake about how he really felt was safer than being real to the public and to Amy's parents about the way that he really felt, and neither the public nor Amy's parents could handle this level of truth from him, and neither can Desi handle the truth, being that he actually believes that Amy kept his letters because she really likes him. It is easier for Desi to believe this lie than the truth that she only kept his letters because she needed a fool. Everyone believes that Nick murdered his wife because he does not fit their idea of how an innocent man is supposed to look, such as the photo of him smiling with Shauna at the rally. Even Go, his own sister, starts to question him upon seeing the contents of his shoebox containing the letter from the fertility clinic, a copy of their prenuptial agreement, and the letter that Amy's ex-boyfriend Desi sent her. Therefore, it is obvious to Go that he keeps the shoebox to remind him of how much he hates Amy, and Nick needs Go to believe this lie because it is easier than admitting to her that he still loves Amy.
It's hard to believe you.
Why?
And speaking of lying bullshitters like Nick, attorney Tanner Bolt,
patron saint to wife killers,
agrees to defend him and coach him for an interview that will go out to millions of people, in which Nick will come clean about his affair with a 20-year-old girl, a student in his creative writing class named Andy, before she decides to tell the world about their affair first.
I had a moment of weakness.
Tanner teaches Nick how to talk, look, and act for a jury.
A trained monkey?
He also needs Nick to take the blame for everything that went wrong in their marriage.
I was an idiot. I'm a fuck up.
In other words, Tanner needs Nick to
Bullshit.
the world into liking him by telling them exactly what they want to hear. But Nick and Tanner are too late. Andy holds a press conference about her affair with Nick.
Fuck.
And she bullshits the world by changing her image. Nick is guilty because he had an affair with Andy, and she looked so young and innocent to them. But despite Tanner's advice to cancel the interview in St. Louis with Sharon Schieber, Nick goes through with the interview anyway. Remember, the world loves Ellen Abbott's TV show and hates Nick's public image, and they believe that he murdered Amy because he signed her life insurance policy and flirted with other women. But despite Ellen Abbott giving him a bad public image, Nick aces his interview with Sharon Schieber in St. Louis and changes his image from the most hated man in America for not telling Ellen Abbott nor the world about his affair at the very beginning. Looking at the camera and directly at Amy, he begs her to come home.
I love you.
With his fingertip over the dimple on his chin to let her know that he is not bullshitting her, and to let her see that he is wearing the wristwatch that she gave him on his 33rd birthday.
Bullshit.
And she does. Amy plots her return to Nick by using a box cutter to kill Desi during the act of love. She returns home to Nick, her husband, covered in blood, as a kidnapped victim as well as a survivor. After Desi had forced his way into their home, hit her over the head with a club, and put her in the trunk of his car. Which doesn't make any sense to Detective Rhonda Boney, that they never found any blood in the trunk of Desi's car, nor the tapes of any of the cameras at Desi's house. Nor does it make any sense to Detective Boney that Amy would hide the Punch and Judy dolls in Gold's woodshed, along with the $117,000 worth of merchandise that Nick supposedly bought.
credit card debt.
What? Say what again? What?
Nor how Amy managed to get the box cutter she had used to kill Desi in the first place, when she said that her hands were tied. At this, Officer Gilpin interrupts Nick to remind him that he is messing up the happy ending to a story in which he is supposed to be grateful that Amy survived her ordeal and had made it home to him safely, because it is easier to believe Amy's lies than for Officer Gilpin, Ellen Abbott, and the world watching her show to face this truth. No one wants the truth if that truth will ruin the way that they already know that the story is going to end.
Fucking bitch.
Again, I'd like to thank you for watching my analysis of director David Fincher's 2014 psychological thriller, Gone Girl. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Godfather of Cinema, and hit the bell to be notified of my future uploads. I will see you soon.